Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 153 of my journey. It was at the beginning of the year when I challenged myself to run 365 days out of the year this year. All outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I've also challenged myself to run originally 1,250 miles, but looking at my current mileage, I've decided to up that to 1,500 miles within this year. Now, this is only my second year ever officially running. Within the first full year of 2020, I was able to run 1,002 miles, and I did that running 175 days out of the year that year. So this is a 50% step up in the amount of miles I'm going for this year, as well as a 100% step up in the amount of days I'll be out there running. I've also decided to challenge myself within this time to run a 50K trail race and a marathon. The 50K trail race is actually coming up here in 3 days. Really looking forward to that. It is in Yankee Springs, Michigan. I'll be running it with my buddy Joe. Getting the last minute things down and just pretty much getting ready for it, guys. And the marathon I will be running, that is in October. That is the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I'm really looking forward to that one as well. This trail race will be my first ever trail race as well as big race. It's even bigger than a marathon. I haven't even officially done an official marathon. I ran a marathon last year, but it wasn't a timed one or anything like that. So this will be my first officially big timed race. It's a trail race as well. It's an ultra. So really excited about that. Like I said, and then I'm really excited to do the marathon because it is a international marathon where you start in Detroit, you run over into Windsor, Canada, over the Ambassador Bridge, and then you run back through the tunnel to finish in Detroit. So that one is a really cool one. I'm really looking forward to that. And that was the one I was actually supposed to originally run last year to begin with. That got canceled because of COVID. So me and Joe, who I'm running this 50K with, we both ran one together. Just on our own. So let's talk about today. Today is day 153. It was actually raining today. I'm a little wet, but this is mostly from sweat because I actually wore a jacket to keep me dry, but that also made me get really hot even though it was raining. It was pretty nice out there today. So I actually sweated a little bit more than I was expecting. But still got out there and just put in 1.5 miles. It wasn't too much, wasn't too hard. Again, because we are in the taper stage, just trying to get ready for this 50K trail race, keeping the daily mileage throughout this week until the day of the race. We're keeping it all tiny and small. So we put 1.5 in for the day. That put us at 7 miles for the week, which put us at 3.1 miles for the month. Which you might be thinking, how is that possible? Well, that's because it's only the second day of the month, and there was another day ahead of that I ran a 3.5 miler. That was the last day of May. So there's more miles than the week than the month, but it won't be finishing out that way, I promise you. Or I guess it will. I don't know why I said that. Even when I do the big 31 miler, it's still going to be, a little bit of difference. So 7 for the week, 3.1 for the month, and 663.3 miles for the year. So let's talk about the month real quick, though. So we're at 3.1 miles for the month. Every single month, I have challenged myself to a 100-mile challenge, and I do that in honor of a charity where I make a donation, and I also open a fundraiser in honor of that charity, where we try to raise awareness and money for that charity as I'm running throughout the month. So we're at 3.1 miles for the month. We got a while to still go. We're only 2 days in. Other than that, though, let's talk about the June 100 mile challenge. It is in honor of Alzheimer's Association. That is who we're raising money for. And that is because June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And it is a very, very serious thing that people go through. It's a hard thing to deal with, especially if you're someone who has a family member that has it and you are the one that has to deal with them. It's a hard thing to deal with, one, just to deal with them, and then two, it's a hard thing to deal with just because it's hard to see someone you really care about go through something like that. So we're raising money this month for Alzheimer's, dementia, for those who know it by that. And it's Brain Awareness Month, so let's just talk about a couple brain things, I guess. Last month we talked about mental health awareness. Well, some good things that are for your brain. One, exercise. Running out there. Cardio is really good for your heart, your lungs, which in return is good for your brain, getting that blood really pumping. Oxygen is really good for your brain. We'll actually talk about that oxygen here in a second within the episode, but that is actually really good for your brain. Lion's mane mushrooms, a lot of there goes a dryer, sorry about that, guys. Lion's mane mushrooms and a lot of nootropics, stuff like that is really, really good for your brain. Things that I personally take is lion's mane mushroom. I take a mix. There's a couple different things I either take. I take one I'm taking right now is Shroom Tech by Onnit. It has a mixture of different kind of mushrooms, which is a kind of builds the immune system, but I also supplement with lion's mane, which is actually really good for your brain. There's some other things I take. I do my coffee creamer that I put in my coffee has MCT oil, which is also really good, and omega oil, fish oils are really good for your brain. So there's a lot of good things out there you can do for your brain that I would suggest really trying to be more conscious, implementing them in there, because that is a very important thing that you don't really want to start losing, and try to really fight back on these things. So, and in fact, I may have a hookup on some actual fresh lion's mane, guys. So I'm really looking forward to that, to actually cooking with it. But that's another story for another day. We'll get to that one. So if you guys would like to donate to this month's fundraiser, June, you can find the link to do that on the Defining Discipline Instagram story or the Defining Discipline Facebook story. Or you may find it on my personal page's Instagram story or my personal page's Facebook story. You just click on the link. It'll open you up on the Facebook page where you are able to make your donations, however much that may be. All donations are welcome. Now, I do know times are tough right now. So you may not be able to donate, or maybe you do donate and you still want to help out even after the fact. Something you can do if you can't donate or you want to help out after the fact is share this fundraiser too, guys. Just hit that share button. It doesn't hurt you too much. Hit it so other people can see it. We can raise awareness for it and hopefully raise as much money and awareness in general just for this issue and all these issues throughout the rest of the year, guys. I'd really like to see some more interaction with this. It'd be really, really great to get these more people sharing it. I've had a few people sharing, had a few people donating throughout the year, but if we can get more and more people, it'd be really, really great. So, we kind of talked about that. We talked about the miles for the day, the week, the month, the year. We talked about the month in general and what the fundraiser is in honor of and where you can find the link to donate to. Talked a little bit about brain awareness. Now let's get into today's episode. Today is day 153, guys, and for today's episode, we're gonna try to keep it again a little bit shorter. Nothing too crazy, nothing too short, but nothing too intense. So not try to get into too much detail. But let's get into it. So today's episode is checklist. We had a previous episode before. It was called lists. It's kind of like the same idea, same concept, but I really wanted to delve deep into this because we're going to talk about race checklist. We're going to talk about something I'm kind of going through right now, and I'm doing like a mental checklist. I have a couple checklists that I'm really dealing with right now that I'm going to be focusing on tonight, especially tomorrow, and then that's pretty much all I really have the time to do it on, because then Friday morning I'm out of here and I can check the list, but if I forgot something, I forgot something. So I got the list going right now, and then I'm going to really double check it tomorrow and then start packing and making sure I have everything. So I have a big race coming up. We know this. I've talked about it. We have a 50K trail race, and lots of things can happen anytime within the race. So I want to be, I'm saying, talking in third person or whatever, but I want to be as prepared as possible for this race. So I made sure to make myself a little checklist and to try to think of any kind of in and out things that I may need throughout the race. Now, I got this basic list here that I'm going to kind of go over, but it goes into a little bit more detail, which I'm going to do a more detailed list throughout the day tomorrow and then really go over it and finish it out. And there's still going to be a little bit of things that I'm going to add onto this, but let's just go kind of over what I have so far. So most of this stuff on this list is going to go in this first thing that is on this list. So the first thing on this list is a drop bag. For those who don't know what a drop bag is, it is just a bag that you can load a lot of stuff that you may need within your runs. Like this 50K run is actually 225K loops. So I'm gonna loop around the same trail 2 times to do the 50K. So I'm actually gonna have a drop bag in one area with most of my stuff in it, and I have just found out that there are aid stations. I already knew the aid stations, but we are able to have crew members go to the aid stations and bring us things if we need it. So I may bring the drop bag. I'm still bringing the drop bag because I have most of my stuff in it, but I may have another moving drop bag that can have some half of this other stuff in it. Split it up between the bags, that one will be traveling in case I need to meet up in one of the drop areas. So, got the drop bags. Next on the list, of course, obviously shoes. I'm bringing 2 pairs for this. I'm bringing a trail, and I'm also bringing just a nice road pair. I'm doing this because, one, I'm bringing a road pair because I do plan on running the day before the race a small little bit, and I do plan on running the day after the race. I don't know if I'll be out there or not, but in case I am, when I'm running either of those runs, I need to have my extra pair of shoes with me. And on the off chance something happens in my trail shoes, I need to switch shoes out, I don't have an extra pair. I probably should have had picked up an extra pair. No biggie. I was actually thinking about it, but instead I picked up 2 other pairs that are road shoes. So, and I didn't have really the money to go for another 3rd pair on top of that. So I said, screw it. So I'm bringing an extra road shoe just in case something happens and I need to switch shoes out within the middle of the race. I got an extra pair. It's not ideal, but it will get the job done. Got some headbands and hats on the list. Not necessarily sure what we're going to be rolling with, but I think it's going to be right around 91 degrees that day, so it's going to be a hot day that day. Might go with headband to definitely try to keep the sweat out of the eyes. It does it a little bit better than the hat, but I may also do the hat just to get that nice sweaty look, who knows. But I'm going to have both on hand in a couple of each. I'll have probably 2-3 hats and 3 or 4 headbands. Socks, I am bringing 5 pair. again, for a couple reasons. One, I may run the day before, the day after, and in case something happens during the race, I need to switch out pairs. I can switch socks out. I am bringing shirts, four different shirts. Again, vice versa or not vice versa, but again, just because I may be running the day or the day before and the day after out there. Need some shirts to run in. Also, in case something happens, need to switch a shirt out, I'll have extra on hand for the day. That will also go for shorts. I think I'm gonna bring a couple pairs of shorts, obviously, but I don't know if I'll necessarily switch any out. But I guess I'll bring some just in case if that has to happen. Now everything else on this list, we're gonna go through real quick. It is no clothing related anymore, not really necessarily, so we'll go through it. I'm bringing my fuel that I'll be using. It is Tailwind. That is what I'll be going for with this weight, or that is what I'll be using for this race. I also have a fuel box that has extra, off and just off little things here and there, things I can't. I'm so off right now, guys. I'm sorry. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. Just has little knickknacks here and there, if in case I need something. Some Pedialyte, some gels, in case something happens where the Tailwind's failing me or I need to hydrate quickly. I got a fuel box with some extra stuff in there. I also got a first aid little kit in box that has some Band-Aids in it. It has some Tylenol in it. We got some wrap if I have to wrap something up, my legs up. We got also have some gaffer's tape, guys. That is great for chafing on the nipples especially. So we got all those great things. And on top of that, fuel box, first aid. I got my good old handy blender, which is dirty right now because I just drank my smoothie after my run. It is a portable blender. It is the BlendJet. I highly recommend it. It's actually really nice. Going to make sure it's charged and ready to go to make my smoothie after my recovery smoothie. So I also have the smoothie ingredients with the cooler. Going to have to bring that. Bringing my camera, my computer, and battery packs to charge my phone and all that stuff if I have to on the go. Not necessarily going to carry them while running, but if I have them in my drop bag and I stop for a couple seconds, I can throw it, charge it up, or I do have a lighter one. I can, if I have to bring it on the second loop, I'll bring it on the second loop. Try to avoid the first time, even though it'd probably be better to avoid the second time. The second loop's going to be probably harder than the first one, but hey. So we got the battery packs and just chargers in general. I got to make sure I get my watch chargers that I'm loaded up with those. Then I'm all juiced up and I can track my running with those, my heart rate and all that goodness. Bringing some sunscreen as well as some bug spray. Ticks are bad this year, so I actually got some Deep Woods bug spray that will keep the ticks off. Going to be using that. Got some water bottles. Couple different kinds, going to be bringing those as well. Not sure how many I'll be using or bringing on with me on the actual run, but have them just in case. I'll be bringing my vest, my running vest that'll be holding a lot of my stuff. And I told you I'd bring this back up, and I'm going to right now. I picked up some actual for recovery after the race. I actually picked up some oxygen in a can, pure oxygen. Going to make sure to suck some of that down to really try to load my muscles and my body with pure oxygen after the race to get the recovery process really kicking in high gear. So that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That is just the basic of the checklist right now. Like I said, we're going to go into more detail with everything so I don't forget anything as well when I'm out there. But I just have to have this checklist, make sure I got everything that I need, and I won't be forgetting something. So when I'm out there, I'm not screwed on this race. And then as soon as I get all this checklist done, I get everything packed. I think like the nerves I do have, like a good percentage of them are going to be like away. A lot of my nerves is with the actual traveling process and forgetting things because in the back of my mind, I'm just always forgetting something. So I think once we get all of this done and I feel comfortable and settled with that, I think nerves will be away and we'll be 100% focused and ready for this thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you for listening for your daily discipline today. It is to checklist, okay? We've talked about lists before. When you have big things coming up, maybe you're traveling or maybe you just have big plans. Maybe you have a shopping trip, anything. Make yourself a checklist. Seriously, it does wonders for you. And especially when you're doing something big like this, and it is a necessity that you do not forget something. It is a necessity to have a checklist. So, definitely keep that in mind. So for your daily discipline, it is to start a checklist. Maybe even start a checklist of your daily disciplines, guys. Make a checklist to make sure you hit your daily disciplines. Make yourself a checklist of your favorite daily disciplines so far. And make sure you hit these daily disciplines on a daily basis. That is your checklist if you don't have anything to make a checklist for. That is a good checklist for you to do right there. Make a daily discipline checklist for you to hit some disciplines every single day on a daily basis. Thank you guys so much for listening. Episode 153 now in the books. I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 154. If you guys can, please give this podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share on our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, which is new, and our YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been listening on. I am your host, Scott. This is a Defining Discipline podcast. Make sure you guys stay disciplined. Get your daily discipline done for the day. I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 154. Peace out.